IGNOU PGDIS Project for MSEP-28, the complete guide to the Post Graduate Diploma in Information Security Project. Let us answer the main question straight away. The IGNOU PGDIS project is a single compulsory research project coded MSEP-028, titled Project 1. It carries 4 credits in the second semester of the Post Graduate Diploma in Information Security. It is governed by one official manual shared with the MSCIS program, and it is assessed out of 200 marks. 150 for the report, 50 for the viva. This is the only project in the whole diploma. By the end, you will master 10 things: the PGDIS course map and where MSEP-028 sits, the code confusion that costs students an entire slot, what the official manual demands, the approval first lifecycle, and the slot calendar, the synopsis, 15 to 20 pages in 8 parts, the truth about guides and the Proforma, the 4 official topic areas, a worked example you can model, report structure and submission routes, an evaluation, viva rules, and career scope. At IGNOU, PGDIS stands for Post Graduate Diploma in Information Security, offered by the School of Vocational Education and Training, SOVET in distance mode. The official page says it was designed to bridge the awareness and competency gap among internet users and users of IT-enabled services about the deeper aspects of information security and the responsible management of IT services. Here are the program facts. School, SOVET. Total credits, 32. Minimum duration, 12 months. Maximum duration, 36 months. Eligibility, a bachelor degree in any discipline or its equivalent from a recognized university or institution, and the medium of instruction is English only. Now a fee point almost nobody flags honestly. The official page states 11,000 rupees per semester, then states the total as 21,600, plus registration and university development fees, but 2 semesters at 11,000 is 22,000. Those figures do not reconcile. And third-party portals quote 21,600 and 21,900. Exam fees are separate, and the program is not offered to international students. Verify the live figure before you pay. Most guides get this wrong. PGDIS is not only an exit option. It is both. Route A is direct admission. You apply to PGDIS itself and complete 1 year of 2 semesters, 32 credits, 8 courses including MSEP-028. Route B is the exit route. You were admitted to the 64-credit MSCIS Masters. You exit after the first year of 32 credits, and you are awarded PGDIS. Either way, the project is MSEP-028. One scope note: this video covers MSEP-028 only, because that is the only project a PGDIS student completes. MSEP-038, Project 2, is a separate 2-credit project in the 4th semester of the full Masters. If you are continuing to MSCIS, watch our dedicated video, linked below. Your 8 courses split cleanly across 2 semesters. Semester 1, MSEI-021. Introduction to Information Security, MSEI-022. Network Security, MSEI-023. Cybersecurity, MSE-024. Policy, Standards and Laws. Semester 2, MSEI-025. Application and Business Security Developments, MSEI-026. BCP and DR Planning Audit, MSEI-027. Digital Forensics, and MSEP-028 Project 1. Here is why this one course deserves your attention. MSEP-028 carries 4 of your 32 credits. That is 12.5% of the diploma resting on 1 document and 1 viva. IGNOU defines 1 credit as 30 hours of study, so the university expects roughly 120 hours of genuine work. And remember, every other course gives you a written exam to recover marks. This one does not. Section 3. The course code trap. Now the mistake that quietly wrecks proposals. Myth 1. The code is MSEI-028. It is not. It is MSEP-028, and the P stands for project. Book listings and one major help portal print MSEI-028, which is not a course in the structure at all. Myth 2. Some guides say the project is MSEI-027. Wrong. That is Digital Forensics, a theory course. Myth 3. MSEP-28 and MSEP-028 are different. Same course. Myth 4. PGDIS means industrial safety. At IGNOU, it is information security. Why does one letter matter so much? Because the manual says an incomplete Proforma in any respect will be summarily rejected, and the course code field sits at the very top of that Proforma. Write the wrong code there, or on your envelope, and your file can be returned without a single evaluator reading your idea. The next approval slot is 6 months away. 5 rules the manual will not bend on. 1. Approval of the proposal is mandatory before you may continue and submit the work. 2. Preferably not more than one student may work on a project. This is solo work. 3. The title must stay identical throughout, from Proforma to title page to Viva. 4. A copied project goes to the exam discipline committee as an unfair means case. 5. Violation of the guidelines leads to rejection at any stage. Now a myth that blocks hundreds of students every year. Portals tell PGDIS students they must find a company to host their project. The manual says the majority are expected to work on a real-life project in an industry, a research laboratory, an educational institution, or a software company. But it then states plainly that it is not mandatory. A student may formulate a project problem themselves, so if no organization will host you, you are still fully eligible. Section 5. The MSEP-028 Lifecycle. 8 stages in the only order that works. 1. Enter Semester 2 and read the manual end to end. 2. Choose a topic inside the 4 official areas. 3. Confirm the required enclosures with your study center. 4. Write the proposal and fill the Proforma. 5. Post it inside the approval slot. 6. Collect the evaluated Proforma after about 15 days. 7. Do the work, then write the report. 8. Submit in the report slot and attend the Viva. Now the golden rule and the most expensive mistake in this lane. The manual states that approval of the proposal is mandatory to continue and submit the work. Students routinely do the opposite. They write the full report first and send the proposal afterwards as a formality. If the evaluator disapproves the topic or asks you to reformulate the objectives, every page you wrote is attached to a topic that does not exist on your approved Proforma. Never write Chapter 1 until the approved Proforma is in your hand. Section 6. The project slot calendar. There are exactly 2 cycles a year, and they do not wait for you. Cycle A. Approval window 1st January to 15th March. Reports 1st April to 30th June. Viva in July. Cycle B. Approval window 1st July to 15th September. Reports 1st October to 31st December. Viva in January. Notice the pattern. The day you post your proposal decides your entire timeline. What if you miss your slot? The manual says a proposal, once approved, is valid for that slot. If you cannot submit the report in that slot, you may be given one further chance in the subsequent slot. If you still do not submit, a fresh proposal approval is needed, which means a new Proforma and a whole new cycle, one grace slot. That is all you get. How long should the synopsis be? The manual asks for a project proposal of 15 to 20 pages. That document is what students call the IGNOU MSEP-28 Synopsis. You will find portals claiming a 1,000-word limit, a 1,200-word cap, or an 8 to 12-page document. None of those come from the manual. Design against 15 to 20 pages. The manual lists 8 parts, and your synopsis should carry all 8 in this order. 1. Title of the project. 2. Introduction and objectives of the project. 3. Project category. 4. Research methodology. 5. Scope of the solution. 6. Analysis. 7. Future scope and further enhancement of the project. And 8. Bibliography and literature survey. Use these as your literal headings. Evaluators tick against this list. Now the Proforma, the page checked before your research is even read. It must be duly filled and signed by the student with the date. Every entry must be complete. Course code, enrollment number, study center, regional center, RC code, and email. The manual warns that an incomplete Proforma in any respect will be summarily rejected. Send 1 copy of the proposal and always keep a copy for yourself. What happens after you post it? The evaluated Proforma, marked approved or disapproved, is collected after 15 days from the date it reaches the study center. If disapproved, suggestions for reformulating it are communicated to you, and you resubmit a revised proposal with a new Proforma attached to the earlier non-approved Proforma in the next slot. Note this: the manual directs all inquiries to the concerned study center, not to headquarters. Here is a question every PGDIS student asks, and where I will be honest rather than confident. Does MSEP-28 need a guide's biodata? The MSEP manual's own proposal checklist names the Proforma signed by the student with date, and the 15 to 20-page proposal. It does not name a separate guide biodata. Compare that with the MCA and MBA manuals, which explicitly demand biodata of the guide with signature and date, yet portals, and honestly our own older page, insist on it. Those requirements look borrowed from other programs. So what should you actually do? The routing sits with your study center. Because the manual sends the proposal there and directs all inquiries there, before you post anything, email your study center coordinator and ask 3 questions. Does MSEP-028 require a guide? Do you need the guide's signed biodata? And who evaluates the proposal here? 1 email removes the entire risk. The manual names 4 example areas for Project 1, and staying close to them is safest. 1. Large-scale information disclosure case studies, where it literally names the WikiLeaks type of case. 2. A case study on cybercrimes in India, built from reported cases, law, and published data. 3. The application of electronic signatures. And 4. Security issues in e-governance, covering citizen-facing government digital services. Now a boundary that keeps you safe and keeps you approved. Notice what the 4 Project 1 areas have in common. They are study, policy, and case analysis oriented. Penetration testing, malware analysis, and live audits sit in the manual's list for Project 2, which PGDIS students do not take. So do not propose scanning or testing any system you do not own. Unauthorized testing is a legal risk, not just an academic one. 12 directions, each mapped to an official area and inside the safe scope. Security awareness in a district government office. Password practices in a small private hospital. Reported phishing offenses under the IT Act. Citizen data security in a state e-district portal. Digital signature adoption among small exporters. Policy gaps in a cooperative credit society. Data breach disclosure by Indian service companies. UPI security awareness in a semi-urban district, record security in a college examination cell, a public information disclosure case study, business continuity readiness of a small IT firm, and cybercrime reporting gaps at district level. Before you lock a title, run 5 tests. 1. Does it sit inside one of the 4 official areas? 2. Can you get the data in 3 to 4 months without permission you do not have? 3. Is the scope small enough for one person and 100 pages? 4. Does it avoid any system you are not authorized to test? 5. Can you state the objectives in 3 measurable sentences? If any answer is no, change the topic now, not after approval. Section 10. A full worked example. Our worked example is this: a study of information security risks and citizen awareness in a municipal corporation's online property tax payment service. Project category: an applied study, survey-based, with policy gap analysis. It sits squarely inside the manual's named area of security issues in e-governance. It needs no privileged access, and every single input is either a public document or a voluntary respondent. 4 objectives, each measurable and each directly answerable by the data you will collect. 1. To map the personal and financial data a citizen submits while paying property tax online. 2. To assess citizen awareness of secure payment practices on the municipal portal. 3. To compare the portal's published privacy and security disclosures against a recognized control framework. And 4. To recommend practical, low-cost security improvements for the service. The methodology is mixed method, 4 to 6 months, and zero intrusive testing. A document study of the portal's published privacy policy, terms of use and citizen charter, observation of the public payment journey as an ordinary citizen, screen by screen, a structured questionnaire to 120 property taxpayers across 4 wards, interviews with 3 municipal staff with written consent, a control mapping against the ISO 27001 Annex A themes, and descriptive analysis. Frequencies, percentages, and cross-tabulations. Nothing is scanned, nothing is exploited. Why does this survive evaluation? The manual says assessment rests on the quality of your report, the technical merit, and the project execution. The technical merit comes from the control mapping. The execution comes from real primary data you collected yourself. The report quality comes from a disciplined structure, and it is defensible in a viva, because you can explain every number, scope small, evidence real, ethics clean. How long is the report? The manual says the project documentation may be about 100 to 125 pages. One well-known portal claims 50 to 100. Another claims a 1,200-word maximum, which is about 4 pages. Neither matches the manual. Design against 100 to 125 A4 pages and let genuine content fill it rather than padding. Here is a chapter plan that answers the manual's assessment criteria in order. Preliminary pages. Cover, title page, certificate of originality, acknowledgement and contents. Chapter 1. Introduction, background and statement of the problem. Chapter 2. Review of literature, standards and legal framework. Chapter 3. Research methodology, sample, tools and limitations. Chapter 4. Analysis, findings and control gap mapping. Chapter 5. Conclusions, recommendations and future scope. Then bibliography, then appendices with your questionnaire, consent forms and approved proposal. The manual is unusually direct about presentation and names 5 things to emphasize. Proper binding of the report. A clean cover page carrying the exact approved title. Continuous, correct page numbering. Clear organization of content so an evaluator can navigate it without you, and the same title everywhere. For deep formatting rules, watch our IGNOU Project Format Complete Guide, linked below. What goes with the report? The manual lists 3 enclosures. 1. The original copy of the approved Proforma and the approved project proposal. 2. A certificate of originality in the format printed inside the manual. 3. The project documentation itself. Missing the certificate of originality is one of the most common avoidable rejections in every IGNOU project lane. The proposal and the report do not travel the same way. The proposal goes to the study center concerned, by registered insured post or by hand, and must reach inside the approval slot dates. On top of that envelope, you write MSCIS/PGDIS project proposal, followed by the course codes. The report is different. The manual says the soft copy is to be uploaded on the link provided on IGNOU's website, but the same manual also carries a hard copy envelope instruction labeled Project Report. Both appear in the official document, so confirm which route applies to your cycle. One more submission myth worth killing. A widely read guide page still tells PGDIS students to post the Proforma, the proposal, and the guide's biodata to the Program Coordinator, SOVET, Maidan Garhi, New Delhi. The MSEP-28 manual does not route it there. It routes the proposal to the study center concerned. The wrong address does not just delay you. It can cost the entire slot. Here is how MSEP-028 is marked. The project report is evaluated for 150 marks. The viva-voce is for 50 marks. That is 200 in total. And the viva-voce is compulsory. It forms part of the evaluation. It is not an optional formality. Now the rule that actually fails students. To be declared successful, you must secure 50% in each component separately. Project evaluation, and viva-voce. Passing in both is compulsory, so 140 out of 150 in the report, with 20 out of 50 in the viva, is still a fail, even though the aggregate looks comfortable. Meanwhile, one portal publishes that MSEP-028 is out of 100 with a 40% pass mark. That is simply wrong, and it is the most dangerous misinformation in this lane. 6 Viva rules, straight from the manual. 1. The Viva is compulsory and part of the evaluation. 2. It is held at the study center concerned. 3. It may be face-to-face or virtual, through Google Meet or Zoom. 4. Never at the workplace or residence of the examiner. 5. Your study center intimates you, so keep your contact details current. 6. Miss the Viva and your project remains incomplete. Because the Viva is a separate 50% gate. Prepare for it as a separate exam. Be ready to state each objective in one sentence. Be ready to explain why you chose that sample and that method. Be ready to defend your limitations honestly. And be ready to name 2 findings and 2 recommendations without looking at the report. Examiners are testing ownership, not memory. What if things go wrong? If you fail the project, the manual says you redo the whole cycle, right from submission of the proposal. You are advised to select a new topic and prepare a fresh proposal sent to the study center as before. A pro rata fee must be remitted as per the details on IGNOU's website. If a proposal is merely disapproved, you revise and resubmit in the next slot, and a copied project goes to the Exam Discipline Committee. The real decision most students face is this: stop at PGDIS or continue to MSCIS. Stop at PGDIS. If you want a recognized postgraduate qualification in 1 year, if you need a credential rather than a research career, if budget matters, and if one project is the workload you can commit to, continue to MSCIS if you want the full 64 credit masters, if you may pursue a PhD later, and if you can commit to 2 more semesters and a second project. There is no universally right answer, only the right answer for your situation. On Career Scope, let us stay with what IGNOU itself publishes. The official page names roles, including Information Security Analyst, Network Security Engineer, Information Security Officer, Security Consultant, Computer Forensics Analyst, IT Security Consultant, Security Systems Administrator and Cybersecurity Manager. It also says learners should be able to independently undertake research and development in information security. These are stated outcomes, not a placement promise from IGNOU or from us. Is the PGDIS diploma valid? IGNOU is a central university, and its qualifications are recognized for employment and further study in the usual way. But be precise. PGDIS is a postgraduate diploma, not a master's degree. So treat it as a specialized credential on top of your bachelor's. Its real practical value is that you finish able to show a genuine security project you designed, executed and defended. For any specific job or PhD eligibility, confirm with that employer or institution. Let us close with the question students actually search. Is the MSEP-28 project compulsory for PGDIS? Yes. It is a compulsory 4-credit Project 1 course in the second semester, and the diploma cannot be completed without it. Can I submit the MSEP-28 synopsis in my first semester? No. The manual says students are eligible to submit the project proposal after entering the second semester. Use semester 1 to plan. Can 2 students do one MSEP-028 project together? No. The manual says preferably not more than 1 student is permitted to work on a project. Treat it as solo work. What if my project proposal is disapproved? You receive suggestions for reformulating it. You then resubmit a revised proposal with a new Proforma attached to the earlier non-approved Proforma in the next slot. How many marks is the MSEP-028 viva-voce? 50 marks, out of a total of 200. It is compulsory, and you must score at least 50% in it separately to pass. And finally, can I buy a ready-made MSEP-028 project? Understand the risk honestly. A copied project is forwarded to the Exam Discipline Committee as an unfair means case, and nobody can genuinely guarantee an IGNOU approval, whatever they advertise. Let us recap the 10 things to carry away. The code is MSEP-028, and the P stands for project. 4 credits of your 32 in semester 2, approval first, work second. The synopsis is 15 to 20 pages in 8 parts. An incomplete Proforma is summarily rejected. Approval slots run January to March and July to September. The report is about 100 to 125 pages. The certificate of originality is required. 150 plus 50 marks, 50% in each. And ask your study center before you post anything. 4 things only your study center can confirm, and we flag them openly rather than guessing. Your live slot dates for the current cycle. Whether MSEP-028 needs a guide biodata at your center, whether the report goes online, in hard copy or both. This cycle, and the current fee figures including any pro rata resubmission fee. Always cross-check on ignou.ac.in and with your regional or study center. Each of these lanes has its own complete guide on this channel. Our IGNOU Synopsis Guide, our IGNOU Project Format Guide, our Project Topic Selection Guide, and our IGNOU MSCIS Project video, all linked below. That is the complete IGNOU PGDIS Project Guide for MSEP-28. For full guidance and samples, visit ignouproject.com or message us on WhatsApp at +91 93546 37830. If this helped, subscribe to Shri Chakradhar Education and tell us which topic area you are choosing. This is BK Sahni, guiding IGNOU students since 2010. All the best with your MSEP-028 project.